Just a quick forward before this video properly starts. Any strange little noises you hear in the background of my voice recording is going to be my bird. It is hard to record stuff with her because she always feels like chatting whenever I start to talk sometimes. And this is going to be fairly spoiler-free. It's only going to be about the first 10 to 12 minutes of the game. So, if you are interested in what I have to say on the game, but are worried about spoilers, I'm not going to say anything particularly spoilery about what happens, what you see. So if you're completely worried, you can probably just put this on in the background, another tab, or just anything similar, so you don't have to worry about seeing anything that you would not want to see.
Beginning your descent. Cruising depth in roughly 40 seconds. Stand by. I'm seeing some voltage irregularities in the instruments, so keep an eye out for sparks or flames or anything like that. Approaching maximum depth. The hull's feeling it, but it's still holding strong. Closing porthole shielding. We're starting to lose radio signal. You'll be at cruise depth soon, so refreshing and be careful. You're on your own. Good.
There are no words that can adequately describe the tension and terror of Iron Lung. The premise alone is enough to make me dread such a future that this game is set in. Decades ago, all habitable planets and all people on those planets disappeared. The only survivors were those not on any habitable planet at the time, such as on spaceships or in space stations. With the resources running out, to maintain the remnants of humanity, the rest of humanity is searching for natural resources, extending on into the dead, quiet, empty corners of space. A strange moon is found, one covered by an ocean of blood. Whether it's real blood or it's just some sort of red liquid, that is yet to be known. You are a convict promised freedom, because who else would really want to be doing this? You are sent alone to explore the trenches of this moon's ocean in a submarine. It is not a particularly well-built, easy to navigate, or even appropriately sized one. It's nicknamed Iron Lung. The game takes place entirely in this tin can. The depths you're to be exploring were far too much for the glorified trash can, so the machine is completely welded shut and the port window is closed for the entire voyage. Perhaps that last part is for the best, as you will soon learn. The game starts, and you are being lowered into the trench and debriefed by a voice from mission control. The voice finally cuts out due to the transmission dropping from the sheer amount of water, if you could even call it that. You may be wondering how you control this absolutely magnificent vessel if the porthole is completely blocked to stop it from killing you. Well, by using the map and the coordinate marker on the console. You're provided with a map of the moon. Some areas are blurred and obfuscated, as the scouting mission before you wasn't the best. It isn't the best map, it's probably one of the worst maps. It does not show you where you currently are, it is just a piece of paper. What you need to do is look at the coordinates on the console, and then trace your location onto the XY axis on the map. Your main way of controlling the ship is by turning it left or right and moving it front or back, but not at the same time. You are not able to look out into the void with your own eyes, so you have two ways to stop yourself from bumping into walls or other obstacles. The first is a proximity sensor that will alert you when you're about to bump into something, and it will beep faster and faster the closer you get to something big enough to trip it. The second option you have to get your bearings is with a grainy, low-quality, black and white camera on the front of the vessel. This is also what you'll be using to complete your objective, which is to travel to key points marked on the map and take pictures of whatever the hell is there. The strongest points about Iron Lung is its sound design and how it makes you fear the unknown. Not the unknown in the sense that things are only scary because you can't see them. Because if you want to see them, you can just take a picture and see what's going on outside. That is not something I recommend, however. There is some non-diegetic music in the game. However, all of these pieces still managed to keep me unnerved. All the sounds of the ship and the planet and the life are all going to keep you on edge. A sudden deep droning coming from deep within the planet, a pipe bursting and spraying steam, the motion detector flipping out for a brief moment as you hear something moving by you. I'm personally not afraid of enclosed spaces. I quite like them, as a matter of fact. They help me feel secure. However, this is undercut by the fact that you are in a tight, enclosed space swimming blindly in a deep ocean surrounded by vast, empty, all-consuming nothingness. I've always been fascinated with the deep ocean, but also deeply terrified of it. Iron Lung plays on this exact fear I have perfectly. If you have a fear of enclosed, open spaces or the deep ocean, this game is going to put its fangs into you. Anything could be out there in the depths, or nothing could be there. You'll just have to wait for the photo to finish processing. Possibly the most subtly unnerving aspect of Iron Lung is how the vessel's integrity is constantly put into question. The hull will creak, but even more concerningly is the red drops falling from the ceiling above you down onto the floor. This thing might have been welded together, but they didn't put the most care into it. You are a convict after all. You should feel lucky they did this much. Perhaps you're not lucky. I would have rather taken the electric chair than be doing this. And I'm not sure that the pipes are supposed to be bursting so often with so much steam. Iron Lung is a short experience, but it is an intensely focused one. It spends every moment slowly building up dread and paranoia up until the very end. Once a sound that isn't the clicking of your navigation controls and the whirring of your engine sounds, you will feel it. A pipe bursting out steam, something slamming against the hull, a deep, bone-shaking, droning sound deep from within the moon. It's very unnerving, as I have said many times before. only change I could even reasonably suggest is for the map to be hanging up on the wall of the submarine, so that instead of accessing it with a button, you just look at the wall for that extra level of immersion. Though considering how often you might be turning around to go and take a picture, I entirely understand just why that would not be an option, and it just simplifies everything to just have a button to bring it up. The gaming landscape needs more short and focused horror experiences like this, because nothing really comes close to making me feel so... I can't even describe it. Other horror games haven't even been able to make me as profoundly unnerved. Again, I am using that word, but that's the feeling I get. I'm just terrified and paranoid. More and more game companies are pushing for longer and deeper games, but more often than not, it is going to lack focus from just how much they are putting into it. Short-form, experimental horror media will always end up being some of my favorite experiences because of how creative they will be. Postscript. I have nowhere better to put this in the script I have already written. While I was playing the game again today, just to help me think of more stuff, I got to a point where I had to quit out of it. It was the fastest I've ever quit out of a game like this before, and I'm not ashamed to admit that there were tears in my eyes afterwards. Whether it was me laughing that David did something like this, or if it was genuine terror, is yet to be decided. And if you play, you will know what moment I'm talking about once you get to it.